This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
Hi, Matt Noyes. Coastal Marine Update as we head into the weekend. Want to make sure we get this one out to you. There's a lot going on in the ocean this weekend. First of all, you've got high surf advisories and rip current statements that are out across the coastline, really all the way from Long Island up through the south coast and the eastern-facing coastline of New England, right up to the coast of Maine. It's because of a big offshore storm that's sitting there. Now, our water temperatures have started to come down just a little bit. When you get to the eastern waters, we've come off the maximum that we had over the last couple of weeks. They've eased down, particularly with the cool nights we've had lately. And while that trend should continue, it may kind of level out next week because we are talking about what's going to end up being some milder temperatures that come into play. Nonetheless, take a look at this. Saturday morning, sustained wind. This is not gusts. Sustained winds of 32 miles an hour at Jordan Basin, 28 miles per hour at Georges Bank. This is around the backside of that ocean storm. It's going to soak Nova Scotia. Eastern Maine gets into a number of showers. A lot of the rest of us in New England landlubbers don't really get into it. But even if you're near shore and you say, well, the winds aren't that bad when you get west of Wilkinson Basin, you'll see in a minute the waves are going to be significant, and they're powerful too. There's a lot of power in those swell. Meanwhile, as we get to the afternoon on Saturday, the wind eases off again a little bit at Jordan Basin down to northern flank, but at the same time, you're still talking about waves that are emanating from that storm. And actually, what's interesting is you've got a follow-up storm that ripples along a front that comes through on Sunday, and when it comes by later Sunday and a Monday, that's going to help to keep the waves churned up, at least in our fertile fishing grounds that are off to the east of New England. So in terms of how the waves are going to go, if we look at that on the big picture all the way out to Nova Scotia, here's your 10 to 15-foot seas that are built during the course of the day Saturday, and that's at Saturday afternoon. But again, coming back to the coastline, 5-6-footers. Portsmouth Harbor is a little bit more protected, but that's when you get inside the harbor. Obviously, that's not going to be the case just outside. And then when you get into Sunday, it's not like it's that much better. So you got a lot of power behind the waves on both days. It is, of course, better when you get out to, let's say, the Scotian Slopes, or when you get out by, let's say, Northeast Channel, but at the same time, it's not much better near shore in New England. So pleasure craft boaters, it's a pretty dangerous bump out there both days. Monday, it's about a 2 to 4 foot sea, and by the time we get to Tuesday, things do ease off. Some really great weather actually comes in as we head through the beginning and middle of next week. So if you go day by day, we start out with Saturday, South Coast. Look, the swell is coming in. This is 4 to 6 feet that are built up when you get around the south side of Martha's Vineyard. Even in Nantucket Sound, you start to pick it up just a little bit. You got 6 to 8, 8 to 10, and then the yellow on the side of the screen is 10-plus foot seas, and that, of course, is going to be east of the National Seashore. But you can imagine the rip currents that come in. You got to be real careful if you're going to the beaches, especially the kids really probably shouldn't be in the water at all on Saturday. Sunday, it's still not a great rip current. It's still moderate. So, I mean, it's still going to be a decent pull out there. But you'll notice the waves do start to come down a little bit as we get into Sunday, generally 2 to 4, 4 to 6 foot seas at the south coast. Eastern facing coastline, very much into it as well. There's that 10-plus foot seas. Here's your 8 to 10, your 6 to 8 that's built in pretty close. So it's some big waves out at Stellwagen on Saturday. Sunday, they do come down. If you go to Whale Watch or something like that on Sunday, you just want to make sure you take the Dramamine. It's going to be a bumpy ride. We get along the coast of Maine. There's your 10-plus foot waves that are out at the Gulf of Maine coming in toward the coast, creating those rip currents for us as well. Again, stepping down a little bit as we get into Sunday, but still a significant wave and a significant pull on what some folks call the undertow, but the rip current anyway. Just a reminder, you can always get the latest, including for offshore spots. If you set your location to anywhere along the coast, and then once you've saved that location, hit the 3 dots next to it that say pinpoint. You can actually pinch and zoom the map. You can set it for an offshore lobster pot. You can set it for any place that you need, islands along the coast of New England, etc. You can get Noyce's 1 Degree Outside weather app on both the App Store and Google Play. That's how it looks in the coastal marine forecast. I'll see you in the early morning with an update to get your weekend started out. All of it at 1degreeoutside.com.